miss the old jam. This new jam is not slapping.
Less slapping jams is a problem. You know what else is a problem is that we have to issue this warning because the following content may contain elements that are not suitable for some audiences. Frankly, we're having a hard time finding an audience for any of our material. Well, accordingly, viewer discretion is advised. Welcome to the Cantu Manchu fill-in crew.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, we're just here to fill your gaps, ladies.
Wow. I like how you put the tape on it. Duct tape fixes everything.
Right, yeah, there you go, man. That took me a whole 38 seconds in Photoshop.
Brilliant.
All right, we're going to play and we're coming back. Yes, the Comic Corps presents a show that is not Andy Given Thursday. No, Andy's out there in the woods knocking boots with his old lady.
He's now camping.
He's drinking Coors Original.
Yeah,
and he's making babies, baby. That's what he's doing out in the woods.
Bullets everywhere.
Yes, that is Jason. Comics Misexplained. I am DruManchu, and we are here to talk about comic books with you guys. Yes, that's right. This is a comic book channel. We're going to talk some comic books. A lot of cool comic books came out this week. One that I think we're going to focus on pretty heavily. We're also going to get into some other cool stuff that is going on. We're going to talk to the chat and see what you guys want to talk about because we didn't do a really good job planning this show. As you can tell, no Gaumer this week. He's got personal drama going on. I was like, I hit him up early today. I was like, Gaumer, bright and early, man. What are you doing tonight? And he's like, oh, I got shit to do. I'm like, okay.
Meanwhile, he's like playing with his Transformers versus GoBots. He's like, pew,
right.
Pew, pew, pew. That's what he's doing at home.
He's trying to rationalize owning GoBots when Transformers are a thing.
Yep.
So, live your Kmart lifestyle, bro. No Andy tonight, Mr. Gretzky. Unfortunately, there is no Andy tonight. He is on vacation.
Camping Man Andy. I love that name.
Camping Man Andy. Yeah. So he's like, yeah, we're going to drop the kid off at the grandma's and we're going camping. I said, oh, you're going to go make him a little brother.
You'd be out there with the woods,
he's out there in nature getting his getting the call of the wild on.
Yeah.
Gore Vidal in the chat. Good evening to everyone. Gore says, I love when Gore's in the chat. He brings some class to these proceedings to outweigh this gentleman, Chris Barrett, who's a filthy animal.
True.
Ricky Markstown wants to know if Chris read Dark Knight's Death Metal Trinity Crisis, because that's the book that we're going to be talking about the most today. I think it's the most important book that came out this week, especially from DC. And I don't think Marvel put anything out that was, yes, continuity-wise. We have another important statement book they put out. We'll talk about a little bit today as well. I think Marvel didn't put out anything that wasn't like really super important. We got the epilogues to Empire, which both were good in my opinion. We got some prelude stuff to X of Swords or 10 of Swords or 10 of X's of Swords,
right?
Yeah. In Marauders and in X-Force as well. And then the X Factor 3 came out, which kind of didn't do much to set that up, but it's doing its own thing. So yeah, a lot of wrap-up stuff going on over at Marvel. I only read one independent book this week, Jason. That was what is it called? Oblivion Song, which is kind of hitting its like second stride. I gotta catch up on that,
man. The last time I read Oblivion Song was when they finally realized the aliens were real, and they went to go talk to the king. They had a parlay and punched the emperor guy in the face, and I thought that was cool. So yeah, I got to catch up. Dude, what's up to JLS Comics, dude? Jesse, man, I haven't seen you in a while,
Jesse's
buddy.
in the chat. Good to
hope
see
you're
you, man.
Better, bro. I know you're sick recently, so yeah, man. Hope everything's good with you, man. It's always good to see you, dude.
Always good to have JLS in the chat. One of the old timers in this community. Yeah, I don't know. He's not that old.
He's younger than us, I'm sure.
He's probably younger than we are.
Yeah.
But he's been doing his thing for a long time steadily in this community, and it's good to see him in the chat. What's going on, Jesse? Yeah, got a few people watching. That's more than I expected. Let's go ahead and jump into what you just brought up to me before we came on the air. Here is a DC project called Represent. Jason, tell us a little bit about Represent #1 and what that's about and what the initiative of this new DC digital first movement is.
Yeah, I thought it was really interesting for DC to come out with this, but yeah, Represent is a series that gives, I guess, people of color and different voices, minor voices, something to say and their own creative way to do it using a comic book. And this first issue, what's it called again? Bird watching.
It's a bird.
It's a bird. Yeah. The author is a bird watcher in real life, and it's loosely based on some real things that happened to him, especially the story at the end, which is did happen to him. He got racially profiled by this lady who refused to put her dog on a leash in a dog park, and she threatened to call the cops on him and say she was attacked. And he recorded the whole thing, and she was some corporate person, got in trouble, and it was all over the news. I remember it, and but I thought it was interesting for DC to do this. I thought it was pretty courageous for them to do that, as a big publisher, and really a lot of kudos goes out to them for that, man. I thought that was really cool. But this is the first in the series. I'm not sure how many they're going to be, but digital first. So go to Comixology and check it out.
Yeah, and I was actually reading more up on this. It's a new digital first series. It says stories of personal experience, unheard voices, and social revolution. And if you guys are interested in checking out Chapter 1, It's a Bird, there are going to be, I believe, 6 different issues, all focusing on different parts of this representation angle. And it's available right now, the first chapter, for free on readseed.com, Comixology, Amazon Kindle, Apple Books, and all kinds of different platforms. It says and more on the article. So if you have a digital book reader, chances are you can find this, at least this first story, for free. It is a digital first series, which makes me believe that it will be coming to shops in the future as well. And something awesome like this, I would expect DC to probably find a pretty cool variant cover artist to try to move some of these and get the initiative out there. So
that'd be really cool.
Check it out.
I just know the first one was written by some, really highly educated dude. He went to a prestigious college.
Christian Cooper did the writing on the first. I didn't Google that deep, but I'll do some more research on it, because this seems like a pretty cool initiative, and definitely something that is important in today's social climate, that we get some stories of representation and some art kind of representing culture.
Yeah, that's pretty different and special, man. I once again, much kudos goes out to DC for doing that.
All right, we'll move on to some other books that came out this week. Before we dive into the big, heavy Trinity Crisis, I kind of want to do some catching up on X-Men.
Okay, I was just saying, if you pick up any indies while we're kind of on that mode,
The only one I picked up was Oblivion Song.
Oh, okay.
That's the only indie that I read.
Well, I did read We Only Find Them When They're Dead, because you told me to check it out.
Yeah, we talked about that a lot last week. What did you think about it?
I just opened this up right before the show when we're talking before. This is the Virgin variant, black and white. This character seems pretty cool. She seems pretty vicious, so I'm excited to see what she's going to be up to. Man, great art, great coloring, decent story. I'm interested, and like Gaumer said, it starts off saying book 1, chapter 1, so is in for like a huge saga. So I mean, I kind of want to wait it out and read the trade when it comes out, trade wait it. But I might pick up a next issue if I'm a little curious. But it's cool how the gods just all of a sudden appear like out of nowhere, and it's like these like beautiful like angel kind of women soldiers, I would describe them as, and they just like cut meat off their faces and use for I don't know what, I guess either food or fuel, or whatever they need, I guess. But apparently they're that's like the only source that's a very popular source where you have all these pirates raiding there. You have big companies that have these giant ships that are like kind of buying their places before people get there, and there's a lot of infighting, and cops are in there. It seems like there's like a mafia there. It's just everyone's all there at once, and it's pretty chaotic. But interesting story, and I'll read the trade for sure when it comes out.
Yeah, I kind of dig the fact that it's Gaumer over at Outright Geekery dropped a preview for issue number 2 today over on Outright Geekery on Facebook. Check them out. And it more of the same as the art's concerned. You don't get too much more of the story from the preview, but I think the thing that I enjoyed about that story a lot was how they set all those characters up to be kind of, oh, here's your archetype. We're definitely going to get into more of them later.
Oh yeah,
I think everybody kind of had their own little spot to shine. Which was
they all
cool.
had like that one screen where it says like their name and their job title, you know, like a proper introduction.
And
like,
meanwhile, they get like one little smart ass remark per each person too.
Yeah,
so
totally like good intro. It's like, it's good.
Yeah, I also got into Oblivion Song. This was the only indie that I read this week, and I mean it's Image and Robert Kirkman. So how indie is that? But what's going on? Z Collect is in the chat. Says Great Legend sent him over. Great Legend was just opening up some auction purchases, some good old Golden Age stuff too. So he had a show tonight.
I do want to shout out this indie that we got in the mail.
Oh, where's your panel? Show everybody your panel.
All right. Yeah, dude, I got all the issues of the Jump. All the different covers came in from our homie Rylan Grants. And I am in the comic, man, on like page 2 or 3. At least whatever likeness they could get of me, because I couldn't give them a proper picture. But yeah, right there, these people are arguing over here in the background.
What is with you? You have no problem showing your face on the internet every week. There's no pictures of you anywhere.
Yeah, there really isn't.
I think that's the same exact picture that I grabbed to make that original Cantu Manchu review crew animated intro.
Yeah, I would not be surprised. It's I don't know. It's hard to even see, but yeah, I'm in the book. Pretty cool.
That's
I'm in
amazing.
A comic book, man. Yeah, pretty stoked. But yeah, I got all the covers. I'll put this one aside real quick. Here's the really awesome Ice Cube version of the Jump. Looks pretty sweet. There's a Stay Puft Marshmallow Man cover, and then there's a naughty little Bun cover. I'll show that for a second.
Oh, Buns.
Oh yeah. And they got it signed Aberrant #1. He signed these other variants. There's like a Karate Kid one, and then here's another Karate Kid one. This one's even better. And then my favorite, Banjax Gremlins cover. This one, most of them got like ruined. He was going to give me these for free like a long ass time ago, but like he got them shipped, and like the box just got destroyed. Like I think flooded and like rained on everything. Just irreparable. Yeah, dude. And also another one I got in the mail was this GoFundMe. It's not Kickstarter. It was a GoFundMe from Perillo, a Vampirella cover exclusive. You can only get it through that GoFundMe, which came with like some special edition card and like the special edition coin.
That is hot too.
Yeah, it's really nice, man. God, he's such a good artist. He's like one of those classic time painters, man. He gets the full oils out. So I appreciate that instead of just digital art. You know what I mean? But
you can tell the difference.
Oh yeah. You
can really tell the difference at the end of the day.
Yeah, you really can, dude. And also, just one more quick indie thing.
Perillo is as close as we have to still having Frank Frazetta around.
Yeah, and I would say Del Otto also. Also got in these Witches #1. This is the regular cover A. And I guess it got options recently for
yeah, man, that thing's getting pretty hyped.
This one is
the Midtown exclusive.
It is, and what's his name? The dude that does Sean Gordon Murphy. That's the Sean Gordon Murphy variant, and he signed it down there. Actually, I think it's a Snyder one actually. And this one is by Sienkiewicz.
That is dope.
Yeah, pretty cool. So this all came like today. pretty much.
Speaking of Sienkiewicz, I wanted to talk about this, and this is a good segue. I went and saw New Mutants this week.
Did you?
Have you seen New Mutants yet?
I want to. I heard terrible things, and I still
Who
am
told you? I want to know who told you terrible things about New Mutants.
I heard that Iliana Rasputin is just a total like racist jerk throughout the movie. She's not written like her character in the comics.
She is written like her character in the comics because she's a bitch. And she's always kind of been a bitch.
But she's also throwing around like Native American terminology is not so cool all the time. Yeah.
You know what? Yes, she is, but at the same time, it's addressed pretty confidently by Danny Moonstar. And they're put in a position where like I think that is the wrong takeaway from this. Like a lot of it is like Celia Reyes isn't dark enough. Roberto da Costa isn't dark enough. It's like, okay, what's more racist? Not having a real Brazilian who's not dark enough, or claiming that somebody isn't dark enough? Like that's kind of a fucked up thing to say in the first place. I mean, I get representation and all that, like but like to have that argument, I'm gonna lay you out why I enjoyed the New Mutants. Number one, the bar was set really, really low. I'm gonna go ahead and admit that to begin with. All right. I did not go into this thing thinking it was going to be Oscar worthy, folks. And I also didn't go into it expecting what I'm going to be expecting from Black Widow. You know what I'm
right.
This is a Marvel movie that is a Fox X-Men movie. That being said, there are literally 6 characters in this thing, right? And they are all fully realized. They all have their own part to play, and they're all beautifully enacted by the actors. The casting is spot on. Roberto might not be short or dark enough, but he is a rich, smug asshole who makes you laugh whenever he opens his mouth. It's really great. The kid who plays Sam Cannonball is phenomenal. His Kentucky accent is like dead on. The Danny Moonstar character, she's your main character. Right, she's your viewpoint, POV at the beginning and the end of this movie, and I think that the actress who plays her isn't the greatest actress in the world, but she does an apt job at what she's asked to do. Rain Sinclair being portrayed by what's her name from the Game of Thrones.
I hear her accent kind of kept going back and forth between like English and Scottish.
Well, no, because she has kind of the Scottish affectation, but it's also kind of Americanized as well. Yeah. So it kind of rides that line. But I think that she does a good job. It's there's a lesbian romance between Danny Moonstar and Rain that is like not seen as something that is other than. It's kind of really honored by the filmmakers in a way that's natural and not meant to be out of place or like a surprise kind of, oh, we're doing something taboo thing. It's really normalized, and I think that they handle that really well. And the chick who plays Iliana, right? Here's what I got to say is Iliana Rasputin is one of the most convoluted origin stories of a character that you can possibly have in comics, right? She's Colossus's little sister. Plus, she does magic. Plus, she's a mutant who can open up windows into limbo. There's so much complexity to her character that what they simplified it down to and how they basically didn't explain her power set was the perfect way to do it, right? I'd say that the first 2 acts of this movie are, without any big spoilers, it's a mixture between a CW version of The Breakfast Club, which is really well done, and a CW version of Nightmare on Elm Street, which is also really well done. And I think that even though I enjoyed both sides of that coin, there's kind of an unevenness to the tone of the first 2/3 of the movie. By the time it gets to the final act, the action scenes are really cool. The special effects are really cool. The power sets are really cool. And the imagery that you get and the comic book moments that you get are impressive and it kind of give me the feels. When you see Iliana come out of limbo, ready to fight the demon bear, it brings tears to my eyes. It's so beautiful. Cool. There is this is the end of the Fox universe, right?
Yeah. And
so
like,
there's some things that they kind of jam in that you're like, I don't really care about any of this. But because they're not going to do anything with it.
Like in the Essex Asylum or whatever. So, Mr. Sinister's there kind of.
Well, it's revealed that this movie has bigger ties to Logan and Essex Corp than it does any other movie. The kids think that, Celia Reyes keeps saying, my superior, my superior, my superior. And they think that, after they graduate from their, don't hurt yourself, don't be crazy program, as troubled youth, that they're going to go on and be X-Men. That is not the case. Her superior is Mr. Sinister.
Yeah.
They don't go into it, but she works for Essex Corp. So there was going to be a plan moving forward. That's not going to happen. They don't really go into it more than that. So it's kind of like just a cool Easter egg to let you know where you are in the universe. But I think the coolest thing about it is like Iliana. I'm not going to ruin anything for people who want to experience the story for themselves, but she carries around a puppet that she had as a child. It's a hand puppet that is a purple dragon named Lockheed, right? And when she comes back from fucking limbo to fight the demon bear, Lockheed is real. And it is so goddamn, it's my favorite thing that has ever happened in an X-Men movie. Like, it's like Logan finally cutting people's faces off in Logan was really, really cool. Like, there's a couple of really cool battle scenes in like Apocalypse that I were like, finally in an X-Men movie we get this. Like there's the breaking Minute out of prison Quicksilver scene in Days of Futures Past. I'm like, that's an amazing X-Men moment. This is my favorite by far, is Lockheed being real.
That's awesome. Yeah, I just remember, like, I heard nothing but bad reviews. You're the first person I've heard that has liked this movie, and that's even counting, I guess, what the co-creator Bob McLeod was pretty salty about this.
Everybody's salty about this. I'm telling you right now, it's not that bad.
I'm saying if they spell the co-creator's name wrong in the credits and they had all this time to fix it, like, that's probably not a good sign of what's to come.
Also, nobody cares about Bob McLeod. Like, I hate to be like that because, like,
true, yeah, it's like, what have you done for me lately? But come on, like, how can you not spell the man's name correctly in a movie?
That's true.
And you had all this time to fix that, dude. It kept getting pushed back so far.
Right.
Like, really no excuse for that. And so, I mean, I'm not even going to go over this whole entire list of things he had wrong with it, but
Oh yeah, there's a lot wrong with it.
I'll check it out eventually. Yeah.
I mean, maybe it's the fact that I'm a movie buff, and one thing I like to do for myself is go to the movies in the middle of the day and sit by myself, eat some popcorn, and watch a flick.
Yeah,
and this is the first time I've done that in months. But at the same time, not yet. I passed on Tenet to go see New Mutants, and I'm not upset about it. I'm not upset about it at all.
I'm scared to go to the theater because, like, I feel like you got that kind of like the airplane. You have like that recycled air that's kind of keeps going through. You know
but
what I mean?
Ain't nobody been there in 4 months.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
I don't know. Well, look, this is the last thing I'll say about New Mutants is that if you are going into a Fox X-Men movie expecting comic book accuracy, at this point, you're the problem. And I have a lot of beefs with X-Men movies, and I think that I've come to judge them on a different scale based on kind of the moments they deliver in the way that the Marvel Universe does. Marvel has that continuity thing going for them, right? Where they built their own continuity. But there are different things that they change along the way. And you don't really care about that because they deliver the moments. And I think that New Mutants has a way of delivering the moments that most of the other Fox X-Men properties don't. Mm-hmm. I would say that when I look at the X-Men movies, New Mutants is better than X-Men Origins Wolverine. It's better than Dark Phoenix. It's better than X3. It's better than the Wolverine.
The worst ones, yeah.
It's better than the worst ones. And it's better than Days of Futures Past.
I like that one.
On par with X-Men Apocalypse.
Okay.
I think that Apocalypse and New Mutants are better than Days of Future Past. Not quite as good. And I think that it's probably better than the first X-Men movie because I kind of just don't even count that anymore. I think X2 is probably the best. Yeah. Then you got Logan. Mm-hmm. Then you got Apocalypse and New Mutants. I think it's in the top 5 of X-Men movies. And everybody should go see it.
Yeah, Gore Vidal had some facts here. He says when Bill Sienkiewicz was asked by Ann Nesenti to take over New Mutants, he backed him when he applied what he learned from Ralph Steadman and Terry Gilliam. was a radically beautiful departure. You're absolutely correct. It's funny because like whenever I first heard of like Bill Sienkiewicz, we were like, oh yeah, you know, it's like it's this totally different style. You got to check it out. Then I'm like, well, this is just like Ralph Steadman. And people are like, who are Ralph Steadman? I'm like, yeah, the beer bottle guy, you know, the flying dog beer guy,
right?
Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas guy. But yeah, I mean, what makes Bill Sienkiewicz so great is that he is an art buff, like by all means. Like he can transform his style into anything. He does anything in all styles, and he's constantly pushing himself, constantly changing himself. That guy is a master craftsman. So I love that dude, and it's great that he's in the popular eye for being so diverse and so extreme, I guess, polarizing than your regular kind of style guys who just draw superhero capes. You know, he has a really expressionist type of voice, man. It's great.
We got a couple comments in the chat. White Whale says First Class is the best X-Men movie. I would argue that it's up there. I think it's in the conversation, top 3. But I think it's better as a Magneto film than as any. Like I think you cut a lot of that other stuff out and you add some more Magneto, and it becomes one of the best movies ever.
Apocalypse totally looked like the Power Rangers villain.
You know what? I forgive that. I really do. I think that that's a studio gaffe. I think that like you get the moment when he's inside Xavier's head where he gets all big and he's like properly CG'd, and it's absolutely amazing. And I think that they just didn't put it in the budget for him to be absolutely amazing in every scene. And I think that he could have been. Yeah. They also should have done some voice alteration on Isaac, what's his name? Oscar Isaacs. But I think beyond that, that is the most X-Men movie ever. There's a great, like everything that you want out of an X-Men movie has been jammed into Apocalypse.
Yeah. While we're on X-Men, we got to talk about the X books, man. You gotta
dude, let's go ahead and get into some books. X books, like everything is setting up at this point for Ten of Swords, right? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. With the exception of X Factor, right? You read X Factor number 2, which came out like last week, I think.
Yeah, it did. And number 2, they entered the Mojoverse, and there's some wackiness going on. And you know, for me, once things enter the Mojoverse, I kind of check out. I'm not a big Mojo guy. Or that kind of whole silliness of like television reality series thing. It kind of just like, it's like, we're going to go there. And also, you know, they have that ongoing joke with like Wolverine's son being like sexy and like, I don't know. It's really weird, dude. I don't know.
He's a perfect being.
Yeah, I'm not really feeling it, dude.
He's feeling himself. It doesn't matter if you're feeling him or not. I kind of like how they're dealing with him because he's such an asshole in his previous incarnations. That the fact that he's just kind of like this smug guy who feels like it doesn't matter who you are, like his pheromones are going to make you want to fuck him.
It's such a reversal from like X Factor 1. I'm like, this is awesome. It's like a detective story. We're going to find out who's like been cloned a bunch of times or who, you know, whatever. Like 1 is awesome. X Factor 1 is amazing. Number 2, total reversal. You're like, I'm like, what is this? Now we're going to Mojoverse? You're like, dude, like, and then you have like, yeah, Wolverine's son like hitting on women and stuff all the time. Like, dude, this is just
right.
Like,
we find out,
thing, dude. And then number
here's
3,
the thing with 3.
Tell me about 3.
3, you find out that these clones are coming from the Mojoverse, right? And they're basically being cloned over and over again, so that Mojoverse's top streamer, who basically just slaughters these clones over and over again for people's entertainment, Mojo's top number 1 streamer has fodder for him to kill. And you find out that it's dressed as like a pro wrestler, Shatterstar. It's just straight up wrecking people. And then you also get this point in here where he's like, oh, I'm the top streamer, you know, things are good. And Lorna basically says to him, you know, you can't speak freely, can you? And he says no in Krakoan, so nobody else knows what he's saying. So they say that they're going to come back for him later. There's also a scene in here with
Krakoan, dude. That's really interesting. Like, I like that.
Yeah. So there's a lot of cool stuff about that. There's some other cool things that are going on in here. You also get Aurora talking to what's his name? Daken or whatever his name is, Wolverine's son. And you know, basically she's like, you know, why don't you, this is the first time I've ever seen you wear a shirt. And he's like, well, it's because I'm a perfect being. And she's like, no. Like, look, I understand that you're feeling yourself, but like, really, why? And he's like, no, I'm what it means to be a perfect being is that, like, I don't need to wear a shirt. I'm never cold and I'm never hot. I'm comfortable without a fucking shirt on. Like, I regulate my own temperature. I don't need it. She's like, well, why are you wearing a shirt now? And he's like, it's soft. It's kind of this funny little thing. And she's like, why are you back so soon? And he's like, I took one step into Mojoverse and they kicked me out.
Yeah. Because you had to get rated if you're hot or not, like their hot or not app to be on like the TV show or be part of their program. And he got voted out. The audience did not like him. And so, he was kind of embarrassed about that. I'm sure it got kind of hurt his ego, but like X Factor is kind of like cute. It's like kind of funny. And it's definitely more on the humorous, like fun side. As opposed to like the first issue, I thought it was gonna be like serious, so.
Right. North Star comes in. North Star is really serious, but I think everybody else around him has kind of cracked him of that. There's a really cool comment right now from Aggressively Relaxing, who has, like, honestly the best name on YouTube. And he says, that reminds me, I was going to look up if there was an actual social media presence from the Mojoverse. If there isn't, and you're not all over that, I don't know what you're doing. Aggressively Relaxing is right up your alley. We also had Gore Vidal commenting on Electra Assassin poster in his dorm room. Man, that's got to blow people's minds when they see it. Just like, is that a sexy lady? Is it also scribbles? What the fuck is going on that poster? I
see that like a Klimt.
Man. Well, he's got this style that's just like it looks like so many other things, but at the same time never looks like anything else.
Like in my eBay watch list forever, the Electric Assassin like hardcover for like first edition. I've been eyeing that up. I want to look at that art, and I saw like I guess Cartoonist Kayfabe went over that. I'm going to see like a month or two ago, like a page by page, and you can see some incredible art. You're like, what does this mean? Like this panel, like so good. So yeah,
Gore also says, has Modern Men reviewed Claremont Miller's Wolverine? No, but that's going to go on the list. I'm going to go ahead and text that to Carson, and we're going to put that on the list, and that's a good one. There's also a Fortnite tie-in in the back of issue 3, which is really great. It's a bunch of the ex-ladies
zapped away to like the Fortnite verse,
right? And they all get rainbow bridged away, and it's like a Boom Boom sitting there. She's sipping on a drink, and they all get zapped away. Blob's like, what the? And she's like, don't worry, it's just a tie-in. Which I think is just like a tongue-in-cheek funny way of just recognizing how ridiculous the fact that there's a Fortnite tie-in, but like it's moving books, man. People care. It's like people are clicking on things. Marvel's trending. Like, come on, man, that's good.
I can't believe this. Yeah, it's a crossover that actually works. Like, kids are buying comics now because of that Fortnite appearance. Like, it's wild. And this is not their first time they've done it. This is like probably the second like Marvel Fortnite crossover. I think they did it with just Iron Man previously, but dude, I'm just happy to see kids buying books because of that.
X-Force is pretty cool. That's getting into the X of Swords a little bit more because the sword that they made on a Cerebro has been stolen, and it's been stolen by the mad Russian Mikhail, who is Colossus's brother, and he is the bad guy who is doing everything from the Russian angle, right? But because of Russia being a threat to Krakoa, Beast is like, we got to round up all the Russians because there's a mole, right? So he takes, who are the Russians right now in Krakoa? Well, Omega Red, and tie him up with some vines and hold him for questioning.
Magic
and Colossus. They don't even go into Magic because she didn't grow up in Russia. She grew up in Limbo, so technically she's Limboan. But they didn't even talk about that. She's not a part of this book.
Is there any other like kind of non-born Russians, I guess, that immigrated?
I think that they haven't even gotten into that. But the thing is, in order to make this like a public scene, Beast takes Wolverine and Domino to the Savage Land or wherever Colossus is being a farmer to arrest him. Right, and cuffs him, and he's like, "Look, I know you can break out of these. This is just, for show.
All for show. Yeah,
this is a policy. Please put him on." He's like, "Okay." Then they come through the gate, and there's like every mutant on Krakoa is watching him be arrested. At this point, Wolverine is like, "You prick," and punches Beast right in the guts. And he's like, "Look, man, I had to make a public display. If he's innocent, we'll make a public display of that too." And he's like, that nobody likes what Beast is doing here. Colossus is just like, "I'm innocent. I have nothing to hide." At the end, you have him tied up in vines, and Wolverine's like, "Listen, Gene, I need you to read his mind. Let's just get this over with." So we're going to get into what's going on with the whole Russia thing, probably in the next couple of issues. But I think one of the sword issues is that they know that the Cerebro sword is made out of Cerebro, and Mikhail has Kid Omega hostage. So he's going to try to use Kid Omega and his psychic abilities to utilize that to get the information out of the sword.
I figure if you have like Kid Omega
use it against the X-Men,
like that's like one of the minimal things you'd use as like his abilities. Like he has like reality warping abilities. Like you use that instead of like, let me use this to read a sword. Like, no, how about you just leave me like change reality to get to Krakoa instead or something, you know? Like,
right. Well, I think that the big deal is that what they really want is they want the Cerebro information, because then you have the information on every mutant.
Gotcha.
But I really don't know where that's going so much, and I'm kind of excited. I mean, the art is pretty good. I think Percy's telling a good story. I think that it's always interesting, and X-Force has been one of the best books coming out of the X-Men. That's issue 12.
Wow. Okay. I want to say I read to like issue 4 or 5, so I gotta do a lot of catching up with that.
Yeah, the art changed, and I think for the better.
I enjoyed that one a lot, though, when I was reading it. That was one of my preferred ones to read. So I like seeing Beast doing some naughty things, you know?
Yeah, I like Beast's hubris. I think that's one of the things that Bendis nailed with him during his run, was that Beast was like, well, I'm going to bring these X-Men from the past, and we're going to show them the future. Dummy, stop fucking with time. And he's like, well, I can fix it. And they're like, you dummy, stop fucking with time. And I think that they showed that a little bit in X-Men Blue, where the young Beast was like, well, science is cool and all, but I'll learn magic. And the first thing he does is cross all the lines, like in interest of learning more. It's just kind of one of his character traits. And I think that they put him in charge of the mutant CIA. Yeah. And that automatically kind of made him a bad guy. Katie Pryde is back. And finally she's back alive, and she came back with curly hair. What's that?
Is that the final issue of Marauders?
I would doubt that.
Really? I think so, just because it's a throwback to the very first issue.
Yeah, but there is definitely more coming from this story.
All right. Did you see that the differences between cover 1 and that issue?
Yeah. Yeah, but it's to be continued.
Okay.
And I think that she comes back, they throw her a party, everybody's like, yeah, you're finally resurrected, and even Shaw shows up.
She got a perm now, right?
And he like throws her, she throws him a hug, and she's like, all right. Then she tells him, Magic, we got to get out of here. She goes to get Tattoo, and she's like, it's the name of a man who hurt me. And the Tattoo girl's like, oh, okay, say no more. And then she's like, anything else you need? And she like lays a big old smooch on the hot slutty Tattoo girl. And everybody on the internet's like, well, you got to make everybody bisexual. It's like, she kissed the girl. It's not bisexual. Like, just get over it. Yeah. But then, yeah, she's got the kill Shaw. She's back to her natural Jewish hair, and the Star of David's back around her neck. Nice. Everything about Kitty is Kitty again. And I dig it, man. This is pretty cool. There's some cool stuff in here, little moments of character stuff, but I think that I didn't really dig the art as much as I have been recently. But the same guy's on it, Matteo Lolli, and so maybe it's just a off day for him. But this is kind of showing you some of the infighting that's going on with the X-Men right now, and that is what it is. But I think that going at
the Ten of Swords little banner on there,
does it? Yes, it does. Path 2.
Okay.
But I'm going to tell you, there's nothing in here that really leads to that unless Shaw and the Hellfire Trading Club are going to be part of that. So I think we're going to see what happens with that. All right, I want to kind of jump into the big bad DC
that's right.
elephant in the room, and that is Trinity Crisis. I actually pulled a couple panels
Cool.
From this damn thing here, and it's really just the first 3 pages that shows you we're dealing with Crisis on Infinite Earths.
This Francis Manapul art is incredible.
Oh man, is it phenomenal. I picked this up in the shop and I looked at it and I was like, this is kind of thick and it's Snyder and it's death metal and I'm not sure if I want it. And I opened it up and I was like, okay,
this is fun. Yeah. I love all the different Batman.
Right. And then the next page is
it's dope.
Infinite Crisis and Final Crisis.
Tell you what, there's your second printing cover. There's your third printing cover.
Right. So here, basically the story of this book is that Wonder Woman has this plan. Mm-hmm. They're going to utilize the Alfred boxes.
Yeah. Which are boom boxes, but Batman versions
of mother boxes.
Yeah, mother boxes.
And they're going to utilize Jarro to get inside of Castle Bat to use these Alfred boxes to go to the 3 dark multiverse crises that are happening at the same time, which is the energy that is fueling Perpetua.
Right.
So if you can wrap your head.
The Batman Who Laughs made these like 3 Earths that they can control and have these infinite crises like on these 3 Earths to get power for Perpetua, like constantly.
Right. If you can wrap your head around how convoluted that is.
Yeah.
You can just shut your mind off and kind of try to enjoy this journey. If you enjoyed Snyder's Justice League, you're going to enjoy this. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. That is not to say that tonally it makes a lot of sense, because it's like it's the same thing I said about Dark Knight's metal or death metal last week. Is it's above reproach because it's so ridiculous you can't take it serious, but it's so serious that you have to kind of pay attention to it.
Yeah, because it's dealing with heady material, like it's important for continuity, but it's like done in a fun, silly manner.
You also get scenes where Harley Quinn kisses dead Jonah Hex on the side of his face without a cheek and accuses him of slipping her tongue.
I love Jarro,
dude. What the fuck?
Anything that part was like funny, like heartwarming, like cute, like wholesome, but then also like really disgusting all at the same time. When I read that, I was like, aw. Yeah.
And then you get like the sheer disrespect to continuity, but like what? Wink, nudge, nudge to the fans, where there's a mech Batman called the Pearl, which is being piloted by a Dark Knight's Martha Wayne.
Yeah,
she's called the Pearl.
Yeah, that's awesome.
What is going on in this book? There are so many cool things that, like, if this book took itself seriously, that I could be like, that's mind blowing. But the fact that it doesn't, everything kind of falls to this level.
Yeah, it's because there's so much they want to do and push in. Like let's just put it in there, but like you could make a whole entire story arc or like spin off on like all of these if you want to.
They are.
You don't have the time. Like,
you shared that with me, didn't you?
Well, they're not going to have like a Pearl comic, We're not going to have like
they're not. But
Batman and Wonder Woman daughter, what her name was, like Cole.
Yeah,
like dude, that's so sick. There's so many awesome designs in this.
But what they are doing is each of these crises is getting their own book. That's the link you shared with me from Outright Geekery earlier.
That's right.
The new books that they're releasing. Oh man.
I must look at that. Yeah, let's look
Jason
at that
doesn't even remember the article he sent.
Dude, I'm so tired.
Okay, here it is. It says more from DC's Dark Knight's multiverse confirmed for December.
That's the Tales from the Dark Multiverse thing, though.
Tales.
That's totally different. That's
are you sure?
Remember Tales from the Dark Multiverse? Remember that stuff? They had the Lois Lane's Death of Superman issue. They had the
I read that wrong.
Issue. They had there was like
there is something about Crisis on Infinite Earths in here that I read that wrong. So I thought that these were these were going to be from that, but
like thick, issued kind of ones that they did. And it was funny because
I'm down for those too, because they're like what ifs.
Awesome. Those are what ifs and they're fun, but they have like Tempest Fugonaut as the Watcher. He's kind of like, let's go to this tale of the Dark Multiverse, because I'm looking for
Fugonaut is the worst.
So dumb. This Dan Slott guy, not Dan DiDio character creation, and he's like, I want to find a hero in the Dark Multiverse that could save all of the Dark Multiverse. And this is back in their old plan, you know, when the deal was holding the reins. And so that's kind of why you're originally going through all these Dark Tales, out to maybe make a team or find like one hero that can redeem them all. And the plans, of course, change, but I'm glad they're going to make more of these books under like the new regime. So I like those. A lot of fun.
The thing is, everything that's coming out of DC that's even slightly interesting me right now is either Dark Knight's Multiverse or Dark Multiverse or Dark Knight's Death Metal or Dark Knight's Death Metal Trinity Crisis Part 1, Book 1, Batman's Cock Ring, Superman's, you know, how many titles are we going to throw on this book? But I liked it. I think the Francis Manapul art in this Trinity Crisis was so fantastic that it carried you through a lot of this that was just kind of like, what? Like, why do we have so many? Like, my favorite part of this book was my least favorite part of this book, and that was Jarro. He's awesome, but at the same time, it's like, can anybody take this thing seriously? Like, take this multiversal threat seriously. And it's not only one multiverse, it's also the Dark Multiverse. So it's two multiverse, it's multiverse, and nobody's taking it seriously. It's like, it hurts my brain at a certain point, but at the same time, it's so much fun. And I think the big reveal at the end of this is that, you know, they built this whole fucking book up to be like, no, we have hope. All these crises were terrible and all these people died, but it was the moment of our victory. We need to remember that we have hope, that every time there's been a crisis, it's been a point of victory. It's our victory. It's our victory. And then they end up getting there. Right. And then they end up getting there, and then it's explained pretty much instantaneously, like, no, these are not crises where you won. This is the Dark Multiverse, you fucking dummies. These are the crises that you lost. And it's basically, we talked about off air that this was kind of the Dark Trinity. The Trinity Crisis is not Superman, Wonder Woman, and Batman, but it's the Anti-Monitor, Darkseid, and the big reveal at the end of this book, Superboy freaking Prime. That's right, Superboy Prime's back, and he's going to wreck shit. He's going to punch a couple existences, and people are going to cease being and become again. And
punch last time, so maybe he can do it again.
Dude, like, honestly, this is Trinity Crisis was like huffing paint, but the most beautiful shade of silver paint, right? It's like it's trippy, man. Like, I kind of want this to become an animated feature, and I just want to get a sack of mushrooms and sit back and enjoy it.
I would love that, dude. That'd be amazing. It's because before the show, we're talking about. I was talking about the last issue of Shazam that came out by Jeff Johns, and it's done now. Last issue is done, but for a while on that, they were teasing Superboy Prime, and he was like locked up in like a jail cell, locked up by Mr. Mines. First, you're wondering the whole series, like, what's in the jail cell, and then finally you find out, oh, Superboy Prime. Like, whoa, like, how did he get there? And we still, I don't think they said how he got there, you know. And but you know, he got let loose, and everything is going to crap in the last issue. And of course, the good guys win. But before that point happens, he has Superboy Prime, and he says, before I get serious about what I'm going to do next, or sucked into the latest attempt to sort a universe, let's have some fun. And so yeah, he's like standing there. It's kind of like this big page reveal. But it was really funny because I was like, oh, that's kind of taking a jab at Scott Snyder, and you know, it's like he's like, I'm in this story first, okay, and then I'll go over there, you know. So I thought that was pretty fun. But I'm always stoked to see Superboy Prime. You know, a lot of people hate him, but I love.
I was waiting for Scott Snyder to say in the next issue of Trinity Crisis, Superboy Prime, why are you here? Oh, because Jeff Johns' book got canceled.
Right, he totally breaks the fourth wall. Dude,
I'll just punch right through the fourth wall and bring back Nightwing or whatever, or Red Hood.
Yeah, that last issue of Shazam was so bad, dude. Like, I mean, like they wrapped everything up as much as possible, including future stories. Like, they're like, okay, well, like, I think all of the other different dimensions or whatever will need some help along the way. And then it's like, okay, well, maybe we can help them another day. You turn the page, like, and then these two characters went and helped them here, and they got that done. And then this person went and helped them and got that done. It's like, and then at the end, like, everything's fine. And then all of a sudden at the dinner table, it says the end. So you're just like, wow, okay, well, that's a wrap. You know, like,
that's how you wrap things up when you're a hack.
Or when you get everything stolen from you and you're playing.
When you're busy defending yourself from being a
when you try
sexual harasser enabler or whatever he's doing these days.
A publishing line of hope, and then they're like, nope.
So, look, he's you gotta hold on to what works, and what works in DC is hope. So they held on to it until they were at the very last minute. Bait and switch. No, there's not any hope here. Nope. Everybody wants to say like Superman is the symbol of hope. Not for a very long time, folks. Like DC is the doom and gloom publisher. Nothing is happening over there unless everybody's getting ready to die. What's the best thing they've got going right now? Probably Deceased. It's a freaking zombie book. They got Dark Knight's Death Metal where everybody's freaking dead. Wonder Woman Dead Earth is getting a lot of good press. Yeah. What's going on there? Oh, it's apocalyptic. Everybody's dead. Like nothing at DC's happy anymore.
Yeah. Injustice is back, like the prequel to that, like everything's ruined in there,
Yeah. It's like Marvel, man. It's like Marvel in the 90s. And Marvel now is like, hey, like here's all this hopeful, wonderful stuff that's happening.
Yeah, Squirrel Girl.
Hey, we've even got a bunch of people dying left and right in X-Men. Don't worry, they can come back and have an orgy.
Right? Yeah.
That sounds pretty goddamn hopeful to me.
If DC wants a hopeful book, make a Jarro series. Okay, give me a Jarro series. I demand a Jarro series. I don't know who's in charge right now. Make a Jarro series.
Just him telling tales about things his dad taught him, and it's all just Batman lessons.
Yeah, and like he'll have his little Robin adventures also for like a couple chapters, like
right.
Things they did together. Hell yeah.
Yeah. Robin King shows up in this thing and was actually pretty badass.
I love Robin King, dude. I really like that character a lot.
Like, I'm a big fan of Robin. So I think that Robin King is has like a cool design.
Yeah. Cool design.
Amongst all these crazy ass Batman things.
Still like cheesy and like tongue in cheek, like bad, but like unpredictable, I guess, but I love that character though. It's he just does some really twisted stuff, like that one issue that tells some dark multiverse, like how he killed his parents and all that stuff. Man, it got pretty dark. But yeah,
man, it's craziness. Now I'm going to touch on a couple of other things real quick. I'm not sure how much you got into Empire, if at all.
Dude, I read probably like 15, 20 issues, like tie-ins and all that. Like I was in from like the road up to. I read even like the 0 issues, I think even like I was reading every single tie-in up to Empire 2 around there. And then I like stopped. I was like, okay, I'm just going to check out now.
I suggest you go back and recheck out everything once it gets on a platform where you can achieve it quietly and cheaply or not at all pay for it. But the 2 wrap-up issues came out this week. We got this is the Avengers Aftermath, which kind of focuses on Hawkling and Wiccan kind of renewing their vows and dealing with
that was Beast Boy and Robin, and I can't unsee that.
What was that? Who said that? That was Leroy and the Comic Book Incorporated. Yeah, shout out to Comic Book Incorporated. A lot of really cool things going over in that group.
Comic Book Bullies.
Yeah, he's with the Bullies, but he posted that on the Facebook group.
Yeah, that's right.
Comic Book Bullies is their podcast show. This is a really cool cover. I dig the cover, and there's a really cool point in here as well with Abigail Brand, where she's basically like, Alpha Flight kind of wasn't notified that all these plant fuckers decided to plant themselves on the moon, and like the Avengers knew about it, and like a room of 7 people decided what was best for the Earth, and a bunch of people died. And then like Captain Marvel's like, I'm sorry, and she's like, bah! He's like, I don't care how sorry you are, Carol. Alpha Flight done. I'm off with it. I'm done. Right. And then you get this flash forward where like Emperor Hawkling's like laying there dying, and he's like, I should have done better. And Abigail Brand standing there, and she's like, I told you Alpha Flight wasn't good enough. That's why I started something new. And she's like, gonna be the new big bad, I guess, or the big good, or the antagonist of the future of the cosmic universe. It looks like.
I hear Carol still has the hammer, and I hear Thor has new powers.
Yeah, it's Thor is kind of back with his like god powers costume, but doesn't have his god powers anymore. It's kind of discussed. It's weird. I think that what this tells me, though, is I can see where the entire event went wrong. Also, Dan Slott did this Fantastic Four Empire Fallout, which RB Silva did this cover. And I don't know why I love RB Silva's thing so much. This is freaking glare. The way he does that kind of rounded head, I freaking love it. I think that this is a really cool cover. And Dan Slott wrote this, and I think the big reveal at the end of this is that the two kids, the Kree and the Skrull kid that were forced to fight, the end Emperor Hulkling is like, I'm going to put them in your care. And Reed and Sue are like, oh, yeah, we'll take them in. They'll be a part of the family. He's like, no, I meant like thing, like you and your blind wife. Why don't you take care of these kids?
Oh, and awesome.
Yeah, it is really cool. It kind of gives it a new dynamic for the Fantastic Four comic moving forward.
Awesome. I like those kids, man. The ones that are always bickering, right? Is that what you're talking about?
Right. Yeah. And I think that'll be fun for the Fantastic Four moving forward. And this is the last of Empire, right? The end of it. So I'm going to go ahead and drop a judgment on it. I know people have heard me talk about it, and I seem to be enjoying it. I think Empire as a whole was an absolute failure. I think it's an issue of tone and content, right? And I feel like Al Ewing brought all the content, and Dan Slott handled all the tone. And if you're reading Dan Slott's Fantastic Four and you're enjoying it, you know it's because it's kind of a throwback book. And this event was a really throwback event. Like, it felt very 80s in the way that they put everything together.
Yeah. I mean, that's the content, the Kree and Skrull war, which I find terribly boring. That's why I don't like that stuff. It's just like, I don't care. Like, who cares? Just get it out of here. But I mean, they're like, okay, well, it's gonna have repercussions in the Marvel universe, so it's like, it's a must read. You got to know what's gonna happen in continuity. And my plan is always to read like every event, no matter what, and try to read all the tie-ins. And once I started slacking on that and I lost interest, it was really hard for me to keep reading that, man. And like, they weren't even all necessary. Like,
and they cut half of it out.
Yeah, they cut half of it out. Can you imagine what it would have been before? Jesus Christ, dude. And like the Fantastic Four go to the casino. It's like, why? It's just like, that was fun.
That's also Dan Slott Fantastic Four. Yeah, it's just random adventures.
But it's funny because people are always like, speculation on new characters and things like that. You didn't hear anything about the Collector's sister in there. I forgot what her name was, the Capitalist or something like that. Like, you had no one, not a single person talking about that new character. Like in one of the what are their role titles? Not match.
I know exactly what you're talking about. I can't even remember.
That's how boring this was. Like, it was on no one's like radar.
Elders of the Universe or whatever.
Yeah, there's a brand new Elders of the Universe character no one talked about. Like, no one cared. Like, and this is like a Marvel event. Like,
I think that
should be talking about. Like, remember War of the Worlds? That last one, dude. Everyone was talking about that and everything that happened. Like, Evan was on it. I mean, that was a big important thing that was leading to for a long time. So that makes sense, I guess. But like Empire, man, it really missed the mark, man, for me.
I feel like there's a lot of really great stuff in it. I think that Valerio Schitti's art is fantastic throughout the main title. And I think that if you have that knowledge of the Kree Skrull War and those 80s Avengers titles and everything that happened through the early 80s in the Avengers, I think that you'll enjoy this. But it's not for everybody, and it's certainly not a modern event that I feel like a lot of new readers were excited for. And it wasn't something that was going to bring in new readers. It was it's a throwback event, and there's a lot to like about that. But at the same time, I had more fun. Oh, excuse me, with the Zero issues.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And the tie-up issues.
Like a detective story, kind of, back then.
Right. As far as the event, like, okay, so I liked the Empire X-Men, the 3-part series.
I gotta read those.
It was fun. I liked the Avengers 3-part series because there's a lot of really good art and a lot of good battle scenes. The Captain America series wasn't bad either. You can skip all of those because they're just battles.
I hear a lot of tie-ins, though, have like all the fighting, all the action, and meanwhile, the main issues of Empire are mostly like talking. So people are like, where's the battle?
There's big battles in there too. But they're more like personal battles, like whereas like the big like Earth is being invaded.
Right,
that happens in all the tie-ins.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was trying to.
The one-shot tie-ins about the separate characters, I think they do a lot to flesh out the main story, at least motivation-wise.
Right.
But I think that Dan Slott and Al Ewing both write better books apart than they do together. And I think that's the issue. I think that there was a clash of styles in that main title between the two of them, where Al Ewing's like, well, here's all these things I want to put in there. And Slott's like, well, okay, well, let's try to jam all that in an exposition while I make little quips over here and
I think
little play cuties.
I think this is like a project that like Ewan wanted to do, but because it involved the Fantastic Four, he knew he had to get Dan Slott involved, and that just like changed the game like completely.
I also think that they looked at Al Ewing and they were like, okay, here are the cool things that you've done so far. What you have not done for us is write a big event, right? And I think that every writer that from Marvel that gets a big event, the first time they get a big event, they're put on it with another writer. I think that they are basically like, okay, Slott, make this palatable, because we know that Al has the ideas. We know that Al has the artistry, but does he have that big Marvel event writing flair? Yeah. I think that they know that Dan Slott can do that because of like Spider-Geddon and, Spider-Verse and all those things he did with the spider stuff, Crisis on Infinite Spiders, whatever you want to call it. He's got event book experience. So they paired them together. And I think that there's a clash of styles there that kind of, you get all of the boring of the exposition, right? And but you don't get enough of that. There's sizzle and there's steak, but they're not on the same plate. You know what I mean? So it's like I guess your steak tastes good, right? But like the side orders look more impressive.
I think it was a chewy cooked steak, man. It was just not good. It was all I don't know, man. Dude, like
if you just flip through it, you're like, wow, this book's probably really exciting.
Right,
the art's good.
Yeah, I guess that goes for a lot of books, but I guess they laid the groundwork for Immortal She-Hulk. So
yes,
Ewan is gonna drop that sometime soon, man. That's gonna be really cool. I'm really excited for that. I'm expecting her to go, back into her regular body looking self after this, which I guess most people really want. Me, I was indifferent. I was more about just the way the character acted. So hopefully we get a return to the form of that, and not just oh yeah, I'm really strong and just really aggressive and want to break things constantly and talk like a dummy. So I don't know, man.
I picked up a couple of other things this week that I don't have so much to talk about, but I do want to show them off. This was the one per store Alex Ross variant.
Oh, dope!
This week,
nice.
Yeah, which got your Shang-Chi, your Spider-Man, your Spider-Woman.
Oh yeah,
Black, both Widow and Panther, and an Iceman on there as well.
There's some cool Shang-Chi covers coming out too, man.
Right. I also picked up. This came out like 2 weeks ago. This is the Ron Lim one per store Miles Morales birthday issue.
Go big, Drew. I want to see these nice and big.
All right, we'll go big. There we go. We'll go big. Bam.
Yeah.
Ron Lim. Ron Limsky. I bought this even though Braun's stupid fucking faces on the cover. I had to buy that. This was we'll go back and show them. That one there.
Dude, Alex Ross is amazing.
Beautiful Alex Ross. Is one per store. I was like, yeah, I'll splurge on that one. And the only other Alex Ross that came out this week, where is it in my stack? It's got to be here somewhere.
One of them faces.
Oh, it's behind this. I did pick up Black Widow on Gaumer's recommendation. It's like a 7 out of 10.
Okay.
That A cover was terrible, so I did pick up that Chase Campbell. Right. And this was the Empire Fallout, I think, or the Aftermath, and it's the first Alex Ross cover. It's the first
Are you going to get
superhero Namor? Yeah, man, I'm getting all of them. I worked on a deal with my LCS. I was nice. Yeah, what do I get if I get them all?
Yeah,
and he's like, and he threw me
I was going to say
a number out of the all that I won't have to pay for. And I was like,
super tempted because like some online stores I order from, they had like a package deal with like all of them, and you get like 30% or 40% off. I was like, oh, like I was so tempted to get them all, but I'm already out of room to put my comics, and I have just like literally comics like on 2 different tables, like stacked everywhere.
Yeah, but if there's superfluous covers to have, it's probably those great Alex Ross covers.
Great covers, but it's like even the issues are just like, whatever issue.
Right.
It's like it's stuff I'm not even reading. Dude, here I'll show some covers too, man. This In-Hyuk Lee, Thor #6. Here's the regular version. Here's the
let's go big time. Let's go big time on you.
It's a nice version.
That's dope.
Pretty cool. Thor #6. I dig it. I've been getting like pretty much all those like Thor variants, man. Once again, the dead, as I call it. And then hold on real quick. Here's another apropos to Thor #6. Oh wait, no, that's the one I showed you. Sorry. Where'd it go?
Comment from TJ Watson in the chat.
So TJ,
says a sack of mushrooms. I thought you just take one. Maybe that's why I wasn't impressed. Look, you start with one and then you keep adding them until some cool shit happens.
Stack them. Dude, Static #1, Icon 1 through 5.
Wow,
still back, dude. Yeah, still they have the card, the poster, everything in them, sealed. I'm stoked about these. These are like minty fresh.
You might want to take them out of those bags though.
Let them breathe.
Well, a lot of those poly bags, they're not the greatest quality.
No,
they'll start to rub and disintegrate as well. So like, especially if somebody's like, well, I got this still in the bag. It's like, yeah, you probably took a couple notches off your grade leaving it in the bag so long, because it might have some color rub or just some genuine funk going on inside there.
Can I show you these ones?
Oh no, I like that.
Dude, I have like
it's like the Glamour magazine covers. I think they're cool.
Vogue or whatever. She has Natalie Sanders. She has like 3 of these out now. This is a 3rd one. And of course, like the Virgin one, just because
this is the first time I've seen Punchline look attractive on a comic cover.
Dude, I love these though, because I thought it was a really creative way of like just design. So I have all the magazine covers that she's done. I think there's a Catwoman one, and I forget what the first one was. Might have been a Harley one, but yeah, lots of mail everywhere, man. Good stuff. Keep buying comics, man.
You know what? I'm going to talk about what's coming out next week for a little bit. I want to go down the list and see if there's anything super interesting that we want to maybe talk about what's coming out as far as a preview. But I do want to talk about one last thing that I read this week, and I'm going to put myself big here. I picked these up for a steal, barnesandnoble.com, and was able to pick them up in store. These are the Treasury editions of X-Men Grand Design and Grand Design Second Genesis. Dude, the thing about these Treasury editions is you're looking at pretty much the size of the paper that he drew the pictures on. You're looking at the size of his strokes in basically real time. And the presentation on Ed Piskor's X-Men books is just fantastic. It's got this paper that looks like it's worn. It's got the same. If you're familiar with his hip hop family tree stuff, he basically does the hip hop history in comic strip form, and he gives the same treatment to the X-Men. So basically, Grand Design 1 is everything up to giant size, and Grand Design 2 is everything from giant size up to basically the end of the 80s.
I think, right?
What's that?
The one called Second Coming?
Second Genesis.
Second Genesis. Yeah, dude, I think, didn't they make a hardcover, but it wasn't that size, the Treasury size? It was like
no, it's just a regular size. I don't know why. The coolest thing about these is that they're not hard covers and they're not soft covers. They got this rigid but flexible cover here, and it's absolutely phenomenal. Piskor's art is just crazy good. The detail that he puts into this is phenomenal.
Front too, I see that, right?
What's that?
There's some gloss on the front, I thought I saw.
Oh, a little bit, man. This is
all about the little touches,
man. A little bit shiny. It's a nice gloss on the side wall here on the spine, which is really cool. I think my favorite thing about these issues is you also get printed with the same color level and page quality. You get a reprint of X-Men #1 in the first issue, which is really cool. It's a great Jack Kirby art with a fantastic presentation. That's a treasury size, which is really killer. And in the back of issue 2, you get giant size reprinted in the same format. So GSX1 reprinted in a treasury size, prestige format, great production value on these. And if you're an X fan, definitely worth getting into. It's not told the same way the X history was told. It's told in chronological order. So there's a lot of, 70s retcons that are tossed into this 60s stuff, and a lot of 80s retcons that are stuffed into the 70s stuff. So there's it tells the story chronologically. When you see Cyclops' origin, you get the origin of the Starjammers with it as well. So there's a lot in here that he goes back and he's like, okay, you want to know what X-Men is? Let me start from the beginning, but everything that I've learned along the way, I'm going to pepper it in as it comes up. I could not recommend these anymore to an X-Men fan. Very happy with my purchase here. And just, you can look at the art on the back here. If that Magneto doesn't sell you,
yeah, sick.
I don't know if anything else ever will. It's just so great.
I have most of the single issues of the Grand Design and Second Genesis covers, including second printings. They're so good, man. Those covers are awesome. Ed Piskor just goes the extra mile for everything he does, man. The lettering, the art, the page quality. Yeah, he's really into production. He does it all, and also he's in a historical event happening right now, I guess. At Sotheby's auction house, they are having their first hip hop auction, and
really,
it's art from Hip Hop Family Tree. They asked him, can you give us some stuff to auction off? And he rarely has his originals out for sale. And he sent him a PDF of everything's take your choice, man. And so he sent him a good amount of stuff. If you go to Sotheby's auction, you can put your bid in and have some original art. But I'll tell you, it's not cheap, man. Last time I checked. On one of his items, it was going for $2,000, and that was one of the low priced items, man. And so all this stuff is getting auctioned on, and it's great though. It's amazing stuff.
All right, so I'm going to go ahead and run down a list of some things that are coming out this week. We're going to take a look at what's coming out next Wednesday. Already from Boom Studios, the only thing that I'm really seeing on there that really has my attention is Once and Future.
Damn, can you make that look
and 7 Secrets. What's that?
Is there any way you can make that larger at all?
I'm trying.
On there. Okay.
I'm trying. You know what? It's because of the way that the page is set up. And Something is Killing the Children second print is coming out as well. Man, this is not working here. Oh, maybe I'll just, I'm just going to run down the list.
Yeah, that's better. Yeah.
I can't see it on there either. So that doesn't make any sense for me to try to scroll through that. Yeah. So from Boom Studios, Something's Killing the Children second print on #8 is going to be coming out. There's going to be a variant for that one if you're one of those second print collectors. But beyond that, I think Once and Future is still kicking, and I'm excited about that. And 7 Secrets, I know that you had some less than positive things to say about that first issue.
Yeah,
but I think that it's going to be a #2 buy for me.
I think everyone should buy #1 because I feel like it's a good product. It's a good children's all ages product. I think they're appealing to those kids that like anime, and including with the story writing and direction, it has great potential to be options for anything. So if you're a speculator, snatch it up, man, and you can't go wrong. I feel like Boom is really great in all the releases. So people are buying #1s in Boom no matter what, how people did with Image. So yeah, should do it up.
Dark Horse is really releasing a new #1 next week that I think I'm really hoping is going to be good, and that's Tales from the Umbrella Academy. You Look Like Death. There's going to be 3 different covers for this one. This is the one that I decided to pull up. think this looks like it's going to be a Klaus story. And this is one of 6. So I'm kind of hyped for that. I hope that that's going to be pretty good.
Klaus, everything, man. I love Klaus.
Right? I think that's pretty damn cool, man. So I'm excited for that. Dark Horse, though, I'm waiting on more of that wonderful Black Hammer universe. We haven't even seen a wrap up from the Skulldigger and Skeleton Boy, which we reviewed back on this show when it was on another channel. And that's still not wrapped up yet. So I'm excited to get the end of that. Dude, DC is going to be... What's that?
What was that? The reason, it's apropos to this, like... what's that Donny Cates series coming out where it has like deals with comic book characters that like breach into real life crossover, and people are like, wow, this is such a great concept. I was like, yeah, I liked it back in Black Hammer. like have you read all, like, I'm sure you've read all the issues of the regular Black Hammer series, right? There was one issue in particular where actually it wasn't even written by Jeff Lemire. I think he had his buddy write it. His buddy wanted to write it because he had such a great idea. And it was what happens to comic book characters when they're gone, and like, where do they go? And they go to this, like, heaven, imaginary land. It's such a psychedelic trip. It's so
very Grant Morrison,
so avant-garde Morrison out there, man. And that was probably my favorite issue of Black Hammer. And it was just so good. And but yeah, so those that want to buy crossover, like, check out Black Hammer for that particular issue. I'm gonna say it's like number 11 or something, but it's later in the series.
Yeah, we're going to get Batman 99 next week, too. It's got a really, really sweet Nightwing Batman back-to-back cover where they're going to be fighting.
Oh, I saw that. Yeah, that looks nice.
Nightwing's back in the swing of things, and he'll be coming to help out in the Joker War. And so we'll get more of that.
I think I pre-ordered a Del Auto for issue number 100. They have a really cool covers out on Bulletproof Comics.
We're getting the Sean Murphy Catwoman series is starting with 25, correct? Is Sean Murphy on that yet?
Sean Murphy, or are you talking about the Tom King one?
No, that the Sean Murphy Catwoman.
Oh,
I think it starts with number 25.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah, so the first issue of Sean Murphy's Catwoman is going to be coming out.
Boy, I don't know if I'm going to pick that up, because I kind of like him writing stuff that's not in continuity, because I feel like he can do whatever and it's all fan service, as opposed to like writing a character that's in continuity. And it's like, all right, I feel like he's just going to have to constantly make characters, like brand new characters, like, you know, for a supporting cast, and it's like, not going to really matter or care. I feel like it's going to be really flat, but I don't know. It's hard to judge, I guess, because I haven't read it yet, but
I think we'll see. I know Deceased Dead Planet #1 is coming out with a 4th printing, and you guys are going to want to get this book, because the one thing I've been saying about Dead Planet all along is that that thing's going to sell some Peach Momokos.
Oh, I hate those so bad.
You hate Peach Momoko?
Yes, they're so bad. I feel like it's a 15-year-old drawing. Like,
I feel like some of them are really good and some of them are not.
Yeah, she does have
this one really works.
I think that one's terrible.
You like this one's terrible?
Yeah, that's awful.
I don't know, man. I think it kind of works.
Like in Spanish, mocos means boogers. So I call her Peach More Boogers.
Peach More Boogers.
But dude, it's
mocos.
Needs to blow that stuff in a tissue and toss it in the trash, man. It's terrible.
Wow. That's a hot take.
Nah, I wouldn't even say it's a hot take. I've been noticing that trend too, man. People were putting their mocos up on auction, and people in the comments are like, "That's some trash art." So I think she had some hot covers come in every now and then for those good ones, and then speculators, made some money off of it, got some hype, and then exclusive covers came in after that. People were like, "It's good. It's a Momoko." And when there's a big drastic difference between what's good and what is, I guess, hype. I don't know, man. I'm not feeling Momoko covers at all.
I mean, we also have the big drop of the 1000th issue of Detective Comics featuring Batman in 1027.
Yeah.
Right. And this thing's got 1 million covers. We're just going to pull up the wraparound that they've been doing for the advertisement art, which I think, not that one, this one here. And I think is really cool. And I'm definitely going to need to at least pick up the A cover because that's just, Andy Kubert work there is just really great. Yeah. You get everything about Batman there that you need to know. Robin, Alfred, dropping the pearls on the cover so you don't have to do it in the interior. I think that's pretty cool. You know what else? I'm gonna go ahead and go back and we're gonna check out some of these other covers. There's a Bermejo. It's probably not gonna load. Come on there.
That's one I pre-ordered. I pre-ordered that one.
That one's pretty cool.
That is my favorite one. That is my favorite.
That's pretty neat.
I love the juxtaposition of the olds and the new. I love that cover so much, man. And it has a great quality to it.
This J. Scott Campbell, I think, is kind of ugly.
I see what you mean. I'm kind of over J. Scott Campbell for the most part. The lankiness of the figures.
Yeah. I mean, I think she looks good. I think he looks ridiculous.
He's like Plastic Man, like an action figure.
Right. Let's see. Jim Lee. Jim Lee's doing a Batman Superman variant. Let's check that one out. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, man.
I dig that. It's kind of plain.
Yeah, it is really plain and not really detailed. I do love Jim Lee's crouching Batmans, you know.
Let's see what else we got. There's a Chad's boy Art Germ did one. Maybe we can get one of these. Oh, you got Batwoman. There you go.
I love that Batwoman cover.
There you go. She's been a big part of Detective Comics. I like that she's featured more in the Detective runs in the Rebirth era because of how important Detective was for her.
Yeah.
Let's got a Frank Whiteley. Oh, I dig that.
That's dope. Yeah, it's dope.
I like all the
it's like a
all the damage on the cowl. It's pretty great.
That's almost like a Raphael Grandpa kind of feel to it.
A little bit. Let's see. Adam Hughes did one. Let's check out the Adam Hughes. That looks like shit.
That's all right. I'm not hyped on it at all. I mean, compared to the other covers, like it's like all right.
It's just like let's put Smiling Catwoman on there. Why? I don't know, because I like boobs.
Yeah, totally.
Damn, man. Let's see who else did one. Jim Chung, Batman and Bane variant. Oh, image not available. Get your shit together. Things from Another World. There's a Silvestri cover. Okay, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's fun.
I like that one.
There's a good Del Auto.
Kind of got Liefeld feet going on down here.
But
I think the face is cool enough.
The Del Auto version is pretty much identical to that.
With Scarecrow. That's pretty cool, man. I actually really dig that.
Yeah,
and I think it's more because Batman looks like a realistic figure.
Yeah, I mean, hand painted.
Yeah,
you can't go wrong with hand painting,
right?
With oils.
Was there another one on here? Oh, the blank variant. I don't think we need to take a look at that one. Oh, there's a Copel.
Ooh,
this one's got Harley on it. I like that one.
That's cute.
Yeah, I mean, if they're like $10 a piece, I won't be getting it.
Right.
But yeah, that was pretty cool. I dig that. So that's what DC's got going next week as far as things that have me even slightly interested.
Yeah.
Let's take a look in. We're going to roll down through it. If you want to know about Dynamite, they're releasing 48 covers of Deja Thors because people like boobs.
Yeah.
There's going to be 80 different covers of Vampirella Trial of the Soul #1 because people like boobs. The A cover is by friend of the core, Bart Sears.
Oh, yeah.
And it's a pretty good looking cover. We'll share this one. I'll share that one with you guys. That's the A cover for Vampirella Trial of the Soul. It's a one shot. So
that's it.
Yeah, that's a pretty cool looking cover, man.
I saw some other good ones shown, but I was like, I thought they were going to start like a whole nother series at one. I didn't know if it's a one shot. So I don't know. I might have to.
Yeah, well, they've already got like 6 different series going right now.
Yeah, I guess I want to say 2, but yeah.
Image Headlopper. Oh man, Headlopper's coming back, guys. I haven't even seen this. Oh man, if you guys are not reading Headlopper, it's a quarterly adventure comic, which means that 12 issues in, there have been 3 trades, and it's been 3 years. Andrew McLean offers you a giant-sized issue every 4 months. Dang. And if you like sword and sorcery and just plain old goofiness, it's definitely worth checking out. And Jordi Belair's is colorist on this one. That's the first time she's hopping on board for that one. I want to see what this B cover looks like. It's got a Daniel Warren Johnson B cover. And that's pretty dope.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
I'll be getting the A and the B cover of this one and the trade when it comes out, man. Headloppers, that's my shit. I love me some Headlopper. Keen Spot, the Donald Who Laughs is coming out. If you like Keen Spot. Shout out to Potsy. Stillwater by Zdarsky and Perez #1 is coming out from Image Comics. So keep your eyes out for that. A new Zdarsky and Perez #1. Oh, yeah. Marvel's got Arrow coming out. Amazing Spider-Man, Sins of Norman Osborn's got a Ryan Otley cover that's coming out.
Dude, show some
covers. Dropping.
I'll be right back. Show some covers, dude.
Yeah, man, we're gonna show some stuff. Giant Size X-Men Storm is coming out. I'm super hyped for that. All these Giant Size X-Men have been pretty darn good. The Magneto was really solid, and I really enjoyed that. So let's go ahead and share the screen, and I'll show that one there. That's Giant Size X-Men Storm #1, man. Bam! Look at that. That is a Russell Dauterman cover. That is dope. I got a couple other covers for that as well. There's a Jen Bartel. Let's pull that up. Oh man. Oh man, that is gorgeous. I'm going to be hopping on that one for sure. Shout out to the chat. Colossal Customs in here. He says, what's up? He says, never seen Headlopper at his LCS. Man, talk to your LCS. Get Headlopper. 3 trades down already. Worth checking out if you like Sword and Sorcery. Kind of like art styles, kind of like Mike Mignola on acid, mixed with Adventure Time. So if that sounds like something you'd be into, check that out, man. But this Jen Bartel cover for Giant Size X-Men Storm, that is blowing my mind right now. Let's see what else is coming out. Iron Man #1 will be coming out as well. There's a ton of different covers for that. The Alex Ross cover, let's pull that up, and bam, I think this Iron Man is going to get Alex Ross A covers for the foreseeable future, I think. Going to be the new Spider-Man in that respect. That's pretty damn cool. So I hear that Iron Man #1 is going to be a new launching point. And I think people are really excited about that. It's another one's got 40 different freaking covers coming out. We had him on Mainframe. I can't remember. Christopher Cantwell.
Oh, interesting.
Well, got no image on the books variant. Let's see. There's an RB Silva launch variant. Let's see if we get an image. Oh, no image there either. Man, this website is not preview worthy. That's upsetting. Hellions 4 is coming out. Immortal Hulk. Is there a #0? What is that? Let's see. I'm getting a 0 cover.
Yeah, I've seen that advertised.
All right. That's a cool ass cover, man. I'm down for that.
Yeah.
That's badass. And we're also getting Immortal Hulk 37. Getting 2 Alex Ross covers, the original, and then also the timeless variants that are coming out. So that's pretty dope. Thor #7's coming out. True Believers, X-Men, Cypher, Havoc, and Magic. That's a lot of cool stuff. Hey, that Grand Design Omnibus hardcover is coming out. There you go. And that's a treasury size hardcover.
That's the one to get, dude. That's sick. I need that.
You know what? I think that honestly, I like the fact that these are a little bit more flexible, the ones that I picked up.
Sure. Yeah.
And it's a little bit more manageable to read a floppy treasury than I'm sure a giant ass book like that. But that, I mean, if you got a coffee table and you've got guests, that's a way to impress them.
Oh yeah.
Some fantastic Ed Piskor stuff. Well, let's see what's coming out from some other, not a whole lot. Some Bloodshot if you like Valiant, but if you do, you're probably not watching my show. And Star Wars 6 is coming out. Man, RB Silva is killing these covers. I haven't seen. Oh, dude. I mean, come on. That's great. That's great.
Yeah, that's great. It's just like Mark Hamill, dude.
Yeah, and you know, I just like the way that the line work works, and it's
like the lightning.
Not overdone, but it has a comic book feel to it, and still has a little bit of realism. Man,
you got some fog in the foreground,
stuff.
Some mountains in the background. I like that, dude.
Yeah, man. So that's what's coming out next week. There's a lot of stuff coming out. If you like Batman, man, you pick up all those Detective 1027 covers. There's a million Iron Man covers coming out. You got that wonderful Jen Bartel Storm cover for the giant size. That's the B cover. That's the one that I'm going to be shooting for. So, man, lots of cool stuff coming out next week. But we will not be here next week because Andy is going to be back. Maybe we'll force Andy to have us as guests.
That sounds good, man.
We'll figure it out. But hey, man, I think that's a lot of content we've offered these people tonight. We've been on here for an hour and a half, and nobody's paid us a goddamn dime.
Oh, before you go, can you explain what changes will occur with DC in January regarding floppies and digital? How will it work?
I have no idea how it's going to work. I have no idea.
So, I mean, they're cutting down their line to like a couple books, right?
Yeah, and I think that eventually they're going to come with more. But I think that everything, for the most part, is going to end up getting canceled that's in continuity. And I think that's going to give you a whole good look at the things that are continuing as being out of continuity. And I just hope that they find a way to draw that line. And I don't want to see their floppies go away, man, because there's still so many series from them that I read on the regular that I want to continue to read. But again, most of them are going away, so it might be an easy time to kind of drop off. And I think that they're miscalculating if they want to go ahead and make that switch when they're canceling a bunch of titles, because you're not going to retain readers. Their readers are not going to change their habits to keep up with a series that they haven't been reading. You're going to be like, well, this is new and you can only get it this way. If that's kind of the way that they play, I think that they're going to end up alienating a lot of their current readers and losing them along the way. I think that if you were like, let's just say, for example, Superman, right? If I'm reading Superman and I'm a loyal Superman reader, and issue 37, I can pick up at my local shop, and issue 38 is only available digitally, there's more of a chance of me picking that series up digitally at 38 than there is if you cancel Superman and start a new Superman family #1 and expect me to buy that digitally. I just think if you end a story, you cancel it, and then you start something new, you're not going to get any carryover readership. And I think that's a miscalculation. But I'm not exactly sure as to what they're doing. Like, I haven't read enough about their business model and what they're trying to do, but I know that everything they're trying to do is to push their digital sales at this point. And if that's the way that the company wants to go, more power to them. If they release something that's really good, I'll probably end up picking it up in trade. But I have a real problem paying for digital comics.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to sound like an asshole, because I don't feel as if my piracy of a couple issues here and there is a big deal, considering how much fucking money I spent. Like, this isn't it. Like, how much money I spend weekly at the comic book store. And
also advertisement for what you're doing. Like, I feel like most people are Marvel and DC salesmen anyways. You know what I mean? Like,
right. I want more people to read the books that I read, so I have more people to talk about it with. Like, I really could give a shit less about Marvel's bottom line or DC's bottom line when I'm suggesting a book. I just want more people in the community to know what I'm talking about when I'm talking about it, and be able to have interesting conversations about the art that I'm ingesting. Some of it is very fluffy popcorn bullshit, and some of it is more heady, introspective expression. But at the same time, I want to discuss that with people at a larger level. Like, I want to look into the chat and say, hey man, I read this and this I liked about it, and this I didn't, and see 12 comments about how they agree with me and 12 comments about how they disagree with me, or 24 comments either way. Like, but like, when I'm talking about a book that I'm really enjoying and I'm putting my heart and soul into, discussing it because it's something that I'm passionate about, and I get like, oh, well, nobody else is reading that book. Like, you kind of be like, oh, you should read this book. You should go out and check this out. So we have something to talk about. Oh, was it great? Well, not necessarily, but I want you to be able to talk to me about it on my, like, it doesn't need to be great for it to be something that we can pull it up,
Yeah. I read both digital and of course physical. I have so many, both. I have a lot of comics in my Comixology. But I mean, usually I wait till like there's a sale, then I'll buy stuff digitally. I never really pay full price for a digital comic, man. That's rule number one. Because they go on sale pretty quickly, like a week or two later, man. So
my rule is, if there are more hurdles to me buying it than there is to me stealing it, why the fuck would I buy it? I feel like every time I load up one of those apps, I gotta like put in my email address, and then like, oh, the credit card that I used was like from 8 years ago, so I gotta put a new card in, and then like, I gotta, that's the wrong account. Let me go on my phone and transfer funds to the other account, and then
damn, that sounds like a personal
at that
problem.
Point, I can type 3 words in and have it for free. Like there shouldn't be such a, I feel like Marvel Unlimited is one of those services that like never really lets me down with old stuff, but I don't want to be 6 months behind. The DC stuff, it comes and goes on that app. Like there's a lot of stuff on there, but you can be in the middle of reading a long run and unannounced they'll just take it. They'll just take it away. And also that has like the worst search functions. Like it is like the menu interface on the DC Universe app is fucking terrible. I was talking to Andy about reread 100 Bullets last Monday, and I'm like, man, I can't find this anywhere. I'm probably gonna have to pirate it. And he's like, it's on Comixology Unlimited for free, and I was like, you pay for Comixology Unlimited, therefore it's not free.
Yeah, it's a subscription service. Yeah, dude. Like,
right. I said, that's going to cost me a subscription service, whereas pirating it is only going to cost me the moral high ground, which I lost years ago. We're not even going to like. I have no shot at that at this point.
I read a lot of bootleg comics myself, man.
Right, like, and I feel bad about it? Sometimes I do, but I feel like I buy so many new comics that I'm one of the, I would say, less than 5,000 people nationwide who's keeping local comic shops afloat. And I buy things online, and I buy back issues, and I'll pre-order variants, and I stay up on my box, and I make sure that I'm never fall behind on my pull list. So I'm feeding families off my comic book budget.
Bro. Yeah, absolutely, no doubt.
So I feel like if somebody's like, oh, you should check this out, and like it's a first appearance of a character, and I wasn't set up for the pull list, and like it's like going for $40 for a third printing, like I'm not buying that.
Yeah.
Sorry.
And it sucks that like digital comics are the same price as physical, but I mean that's all like the store's fault as well, because once digital comics came out, they're like, this is the end of our stores, this is the end of our physical comics, and people were like, it didn't happen, you know what I mean? But they were initially cheaper, digital comics,
which makes sense.
Once the stores complained,
there's no overhead.
Once the stores complained, then the price became adjusted to regular store shelf price. So you can thank your store for that. But yeah, I guess in the long run, it is better for physical comics, but I don't know, man. I think it's a total different demographic. It's changed lately where people are buying both, but man, in the beginning, people were not buying digital, even though it was cheaper,
Yeah, I think that like when you talk about digital pricing, though, it's like at the beginning, who knows what you're getting for it?
Yeah.
Remember iTunes? Like it's not
every song with $1 back then.
There's Apple Music, right? So like you have to pay for the $8 a month or whatever, and you get everything. But remember when everything was $1 a song, right? Even if you could buy the album for $10 in the store and it had 13 songs on it, each song cost you $1, right? Even if you're like me and you like late 80s, early 90s punk rock songs that are a minute long, or somebody who wants like some rock opera, which is like 35 minutes long, it's still $1 a song, right? It's like you run into a situation like, are you getting what you paid for?
Right.
And I feel like the only real medium that has gotten digital and physical media as like the same price and kind of nailed it is like video games, because you can do a digital download or you could buy a disc. At the same point, you're getting the same exact thing. All that disc is doing is giving you that digital download and absolving you of having to, license it.
Right.
And you can trade that disc back in. So there's got more value to it.
Sure.
The convenience of having something on your hard drive is you're playing the exact same game.
All I buy is digital games, dude. I have like 6 hard copies of my PlayStation 4 games. All the rest are digital. I have like, I think 200, 300 games, like all digital, dude.
Right. I was talking to the girl at GameStop today. I actually went in to hunt for some action figures, and I was talking about a game that's coming out. She's like, you want to pre-order that? And I was like, no, I'll download it the morning before it comes out. Like, I'm not a
it'll
soccer
be downloaded
mom.
By the time I get to play it,
right? Like, oh yeah, I'll already have it downloaded as soon as it goes live and not have to worry about it. But like, that's like, I don't collect video games. I play video games, right? It's like,
if I do collect video games, it's going to be like a retro game, that you can't get anymore.
Right. And I feel the same way about movies. Like, I will download a digital movie.
Yeah.
I'm not going out and getting a Blu-ray unless it has like 47 minutes of extra features and it's on sale. And
that's what sucks about like PlayStation 5 coming out, is like I gotta buy the disc version because I have like Criterion Blu-rays that you can't get anywhere. So like if I want to watch those, man, I want to watch my Blu-rays and I need spend that extra $100 on that PlayStation drive, man. That sucks. So oh well. But I mean, you're right. Most of my movies too are all digital, man. It's just easier. And you figure with comics, man, a lot of people would do the same. Maybe, I don't know. I mean, I know a lot of bigger comic book reviewers, that's all they buy is digital, but they'll still swing by their comic book stores and pick up a few items or back issues and things like that. So,
yeah, I think digital, if you're a regular reader and you read a lot of books and you're short, like if you're an apartment dweller, I completely understand not buying physical comics. They take up a lot of space. Like I'm running out of space now. I upgraded like end of last year, about this time last year, I upgraded my living situation in the same home and tripled my space, and I'm like out of space already.
Yeah,
it's just like I need to sell things just to make my living space livable.
Yeah, I should probably sell some things. I have a lot of stuff I'm never going to read again. But it's like, it's just so much trouble. You got to mail stuff, man. Like, I'd much rather I'd much rather sleep in on my day off than sit up in eBay store. I got to buy like some more short boxes and get this clutter out of here. So I finally alphabetized most of my stuff. But yeah, man, dude, I don't know. I wish digital comics were cheaper, man, and more accessible with people. People would read them more if they were cheaper, I think. So.
Yeah, there's a difference in the reading experience, but I don't think it's enough to turn me off digital comics altogether. I'm more apt to buy a variant cover and buy a physical comic twice than I am to spend money on a digital comic ever.
That's true. I feel like most digital comics don't have advertisements in them either. It's just the comic, just the story.
And why, I guess they're making more money off of that because there's less overhead. You don't have to print and ship. You don't have to, you're getting the money without having to pay for the, the ad space or any of that stuff. So who knows, man?
I also kind of like the Comixology reader, where it's like zoomed in and you have like a panel and then you press the next frame. It goes.
I don't like that, man.
I don't like zoom out, some bigger. I think it's like, I like how it is because you're not sure what's going to be revealed next. But the reason I don't like it is because it cuts off some of the art, some of the picture, and like the framework. So whenever I do read my Comixology digital books, like I gotta like zoom in and like make my screen larger, and then I'll even like zoom in larger with the mouse, so it's like covers a whole entire screen, and you can like see all the detail. But I do like the way the reader works, but I wish it was just tweaked a little more, where you would get all the art and not miss out on stuff.
I think when I'm willing to splurge on something that is printed and oversized, and just to enjoy the artwork as much as I possibly can, I feel like digital cuts off a lot of that experience.
Yeah, man.
Also, digital coloring is like really bad on older books too. Some of it is just not good.
If I'm gonna buy like a hardcover book, dude, I'm probably gonna buy something from like Fantagraphics. That really goes like the full mile with their with their publications, or even like absolute editions of like DC comic stuff. Like those are really,
or like IDW artist editions. Those are good
exactly,
too.
Dude. I have one artist edition. It's like a Chris Ware kind of compilation of his old work, but there's some other artist edition I want, but there's nowhere to store them because they're so huge. So I gotta find like a new shelf or something, or build a special shelf. So, dude, good stuff, man.
All right, man. I think that's going to do it for us. We've been live for an hour and 43 minutes. So we're going to go ahead and cut this off. If you guys have any suggestions for how we find a way to make this thing happen, even when Andy is back and around, shoot us a comment down below. And if you want us to go away and never come back, tell us again that in a comment down below. If you enjoyed this show, hit that thumbs up button, hit that subscribe button. Comic Corps will be bringing you all kinds of different content throughout the weeks. Always going to be here on a weeknight at 10 p.m., 10:05 p.m. Eastern Standard Time with a show for you guys, regardless of what it is. We are committed to you. Thanks you Jason Cantu, Comics Misexplained, for being part of the namesake of this show that we've revived for 2 weeks in a row, and now it's going to go back into hibernation. We appreciate you, man. Thanks for coming on and filling in with me and talking some shit.
Always fun, dude.
All right, guys, we're going to go ahead and just cut it off now and here. And, you're never going to know when the broadcast stops. I'm going to hit the button, and then we're just going to